Detroit, Oakland, and Camden, New Jersey are looking at their ability to respond to residential burglaries because of budget cuts. This is a true issue, and it's time for government to step up, entire government, because there are things that are going on at the state level that are going to definitely affect us here at the local level. If that happens, it's more pressure on resources here locally. This is an issue that needs to be prioritized, and there has to be proper funding to keep our citizens safe.
Have prosecutors said how they will reprioritize?
We'll be having those discussions with them.
So that's just the goal at this point, is to have them?
Yes. We have to do something on that end. Again, we can arrest them if they're getting back on the streets. As soon as we arrest them, that is an issue. And we're seeing more and more of that.
Sheriff, you mentioned that you'd spoken with Judge Please. What was the nature of that conversation?
Nature of the conversation was exactly what we presented today. The fact that people are getting out. Judge Please is very concerned about those issues, and we're going to have a discussion with the judges and walk through some of these instances that are sitting here in emails. You know, Sheriff, we have a problem. We're arresting them, but they're not staying in jail. If that's coming from my investigators, that is an issue, and it's frustrating for them. They arrest them, and they're back on the streets. That needs to be addressed, and that's going to be a system look. What's happening that these individuals with $250,000 bonds are back out, and as soon as they're out, they're re-burglarizing our citizens.
Is it a problem with bond or 72-hour rule?
Right now, it looks like bond, from what I'm seeing.
But don't the judges follow recommendations from the prosecutors? Oftentimes?
That's the other part of that discussion, Tom, is what are we recommending, and why are those recommendations being made when you know that this individual's been out burglarizing the public?
So you've got some feedback from Judge Please, but yet to have the discussion with the prosecutor's office, is that correct?
I haven't had that direct discussion, but we're going to be having those direct discussions.
Have you requested it?
I tried to find somebody today, but it was lunchtime.
The one thing I would point out is every other month we do have a meeting of all the county elected officials. So that is our time when the sheriff gets in the same room with the Board of County Commissioners, with some prosecutor, typically the presiding of both district court and superior court. So typically it's a good venue to have those discussions.
Have you had that in that meeting yet?
Next one's coming up. I never look out more than a couple days at a time, but I know it's coming. It's been a while since the last one, so.
It's every quarter.
But have you got a feedback at all from the prosecutor's office, well, whether they're willing to work with you, or if it's...
My experience with the prosecutors has always been that once we identify a problem, they'll come to the table and help us work it out.
Why this increase? Why 60% over the same period last year? Your best guess or knowledge?
Manpower. Again, we're arresting them, Othello, but we need the manpower to keep the pressure on the situation. Many of these people that I've talked about today have committed multiple burglaries within this community. Once we identify them and we arrest them, it's important to keep them in jail. So, again, we've had a spike in the unincorporated area. Again, the unincorporated area of Spokane County has lost 30 deputies in 3 years. The difference with Spokane Valley, which has a decrease of about 15% in res-burgs, is the fact that the elected officials of the valley have kept their manpower and actually increased it 1 year, and they're talking about possibly re-increasing again.
Do we know how many hours or how many other people you may be able to put on the streets? Those who say that don't normally work out on patrol.
We're going to at least do 8 to 10 hour days for them and get them out there. And we're also going to be putting out the overtime lists, and our supervisors for this for our criminal interdiction team will be meeting, forming the plan, and then we'll be moving forward.
Does that start immediately?
We starting immediately. The plan is being formulated. That was given out to command staff today to get everything put in place.
And just, I think the point needs to be made. We have lost significant positions in the last couple of years. You know, a couple of things that we see is we really only have two revenue sources in county government that funds our, uniforms on the street. It's sales tax, and it's been state and federal grants. So when you take a look at what's happened with state and federal grants for law enforcement, they've dried up the last 2 years. A lot of our positions have been eliminated when those grants were not renewed. And then if you take a look at our sales tax, it's plummeted in the last couple of years for a couple of reasons. The economy certainly being one of them. And the other one is we've had a couple of very significant annexations. And annexations have been primarily about sales tax. So when you take a look at the largest annexation in 100 years in the Spokane community being the West Plains, that's a reduction of about 1.4 to 1.6 million. And if you look at just prior to that, what we call the Costco annexation on North Division, that was about the same amount of dollars as well. So we've probably seen a reduction of somewhere in the area of about $7 million in sales tax receipts for Spokane County in the last couple of years, coupled with the reduction in grants. So that's the challenge that we've had.
One more question. Any? If not, again, it's the victim that really needs to be focused on here. We cannot continue to have our families in this community victimized. We have to do something. It is our responsibility to provide you a safe community, and again, that is my intention. If Melissa would like to say anything to the media now or individually, feel free to do so. Again, I really thank Melissa for coming and being willing to put a face to the victims of our community. Very, very rarely do we focus on the victims. It's time that we start focusing on the citizens and the victims of this community rather than worrying about how many people are in jail and how long they're going to be there, because some of these people need to be there for a long time.
I just think this is great, and I appreciate the efforts being made, and I know it's not an easy job with the officers out on the streets. And just, as a victim, I think, if it's going to happen on my street, it can happen on any street. So, I'm not trying to put my face or my family as the only victim, because I know it has been going on, and it will continue if there's not some effort made. So this is great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. If you have any questions, separately, I'll hang around.